group, and Susan tomorrow as well. So today is day 2 of the finance seminar. Thank you for joining us. If you joined us yesterday, we really appreciate it. And day 2 is actually, I'll be a little bit more specific to some of our other finance apps, such as inventory and subscriptions. We're actually going to start off with inventory, which is a great tool for anybody who has inventory issues and wants to find a way to manage it. And we'll actually have a business case from Marie-Andrée later in the session as well. And I'll introduce, you kind of heard her already, but I'll introduce her whenever she comes up. So we'll kind of be in the background for a little bit. So today's session is in showtime, similar to yesterday. So if you were here yesterday, sorry. But if anybody's new, the questions tab is where you'll be able to ask us questions. And we have inventory and subscription support in the call today. So they'll be able to answer your questions as effectively as possible. They might not be able to get to every question, but we're hoping they can at least guide you in the right direction. The polls area is where you can go to previous polls in case you missed it. I'll go over polls here in a little bit. Chats is kind of where you can communicate with us, like you can't hear our microphones, or the slides are frozen or something like that, or you can just tell us how great of a job we're doing over there in the chat section. The handouts is, you'll be able to see a bunch of handouts. I left up the handouts from yesterday as far as Pressing and Nagley, but I also added Cafina, which is Marie-Andrée's business or company. They're actually pretty large Zoho partner for us, and you can go check them out over there in the handouts tab. And I included their blog in the chat section, so check that out as well. And you'll have today and yesterday's slides as well. A few other housekeeping items for CPAs. This session does qualify for 3 CPE credits. In order to obtain those, you need to attend for at least 150 minutes, complete 9 out of the 12 polling questions, and then you need to complete the evaluation at the end of the session, because that allows me to know that you need a CPE. And I'll go ahead and launch the first polling question. We have quite a bit. We're going to be going through 12. So I made the first one just something, an actual polling question. Normally it's just kind of a play around question. But so did you attend day 1 of the seminar? So it's okay if you didn't. If you're familiar with Zoho Books, we really went over the new features of Zoho Books and our top 5 features of what we thought you should know about. The recording will be sent out at the end of the week, so don't stress out too much. We did a great session on migration as well. So I'll leave this up for about 10 more minutes. I mean, not 10 more seconds. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. Yeah. Cool. So there we go. And let's just introduce the finance team, Zoho Finance team real quick. My name is Nathan Rogerson. I know if you were here yesterday, this might be a little redundant for anybody who doesn't know who we are. We represent the Zoho Finance partner channel over here at Zoho. And my role in particular is partner development and marketing manager for the partner team. I've been in accounting for about 5 years or so. We also have D-Raj, who's been with Zoho for about 5 years, and he used to work in support for Zoho Books, but now he's an account lead over here. And I'll just let him introduce himself real quick, and then Val as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nathan. Welcome everybody to this interesting day 2 of the Zoho Finance seminar. Just to give you an introduction about myself, I've been with Zoho for more than 5 years now, and specializing only on the finance applications. My current role is to work alongside partners so that they're able to manage their clients seamlessly on a suite of finance applications.
Yeah, thanks, D-Raj. And we also have Val Steed, our resident CPA. I'll let you kind of just introduce yourself as well, Val.
Sure. Good day, everyone, and welcome. Appreciate you being here. I am a CPA. I've been in the industry for many, many years. Had an opportunity to join Zoho a couple of years back and work on an accountants program. It's really a wonderful company, wonderful job. And over these 2 or 3 days here, what we got left, I think you'll see, if you stay with us, you're going to kind of get the vision of what I saw in Zoho, why I believe this is the future. Cloud-based suites is a future direction for all companies. and especially how Zoho's done it with privacy being a real focus of our company. We don't sell data. Our servers are on our own sister company Manage Engine. A lot of wonderful things internally about the company, as well as the products we'll show you today. So welcome. I think you're going to have a couple really good days here.
Yeah, thanks for that, Val, and thanks for speaking highly of Zoho. Yeah, so today's agenda, we'll be going over inventory and order management. This session will be about 45 minutes or so, and hopefully near the end of it, we'll have time for maybe some live Q&As. I don't, if just depending on time, but we do have a support member in the questions area, so he'll be able to answer as much as he can. Then we'll be exploring inventory with Marie-Andrée, and she has a business case, so it's pretty interesting, and it should open up a lot of people's eyes if they're not using an inventory tool, but they have a business that could benefit from it. And we'll be doing a streamlining your sales and billing operations with Zoho subscriptions. That will be later in the session as well, and we have another Zoho product expert presenting that, and we will have support in the questions area as well for subscriptions. And then again, Marie-Andrée was generous enough to do another business case for subscriptions, so I'm really excited for that. It really helps. I think it helps the audience understand it in a way that not necessarily our presentation. Obviously our presentations tell you what our products can do and how it can benefit you, but it's really great to see a business case, to see it in action. So let's go ahead and get started with inventory and order management. And I will introduce Madan and Percy. Madan, are you there?
Yes, Nathan.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing all right. So yeah, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and tell us how long you've been with Zoho.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name is Madan. I've been with Zoho for more than 3 years now, and currently I take care of the partner engagement for US, Canada, and the Latin regions.
Awesome. Thank you. And Percy, I don't know if he'll be speaking up, but I know he's in the questions area. And so he'll be able to answer any support questions you have pertaining to inventory. And my team as well will be in the questions tab answering questions as well. But I'll go ahead and transfer control over to you, Madan, and then we'll get going.
Thank you, Nathan.
All right.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So to begin with, let's see what is Zoho Inventory. So we are a cloud-based inventory management solution that helps businesses of any size to effectively manage their stock and inventory. So in today's session, we'll be discussing about the different options that we have pertaining to the inventory management side of things, and how you can effectively manage your orders using Zoho Inventory, and the different automation options that we offer. So to start with, we'll talk about the inventory management side of things, and how what are the different options available in Zoho Inventory to effectively manage your inventory. So let's see. I cannot stress enough the need for effective inventory management in any business, because having the right amount of stock at the right time is imperative for any business. Because stock out, it can lead to a lost deal, or it can earn a bad reputation for your company, and it can also lose customer loyalty. So to prevent all such occurrences, I feel it is imperative to have an effective inventory management solution, because it avoids the hassle of having to track inventory, and instead focus on things that can increase profitability for your business. And it is also estimated that almost 25% of every business cost is spent on inventory. So having a proper and effective inventory management solution can certainly improve your business and your profitability. So now let's see the different options that we have that can help any business effectively manage their inventory.
Hey, yeah, Madan, before you get started in that, I do want to launch our second poll question, because it just pertains to that slide. And don't worry if you get the answer wrong. It's not that big of a deal. It's really for CPEs, but obviously, if you don't need a CPE, we appreciate you kind of taking part as well, just keeping engaged. But yeah, so what percent of every business is spent on inventory, and it's on that slide, 25%. And yeah, I think that's very important. Kind of what Madan's about to get into is how important it is for a business to have an inventory management tool so that they can streamline a lot of those processes. So I'll leave that up for about 10 more seconds and then we'll keep going. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. And again, if you missed this poll question, you can always go back into the polls tab and you're good to go.
Yeah. So in order to understand things better and see how effectively you can manage inventory using Zoho, let's take an example of a business. This is the workflow of the business. It has a retail location. The things on the right side, it pertains to the sales workflow, and the one in the left, it discusses about the purchase side of things. So this specific business has a retail location. It does both online selling and offline sales. Online selling is sales done on platforms like Shopify, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, etc. And they also have a physical warehouse where they store their stock. And this is the purchase workflow, that is issuing a PO, receiving it, and then the sales workflow of creating a package and fulfilling the order. This is the typical example of this business that we're going to discuss. And in this particular segment, we'll be discussing about the different options that are currently available in Zoho that helps businesses enable or effectively manage inventory. So talking about items are nothing but the preliminary thing about inventory management is the creation of items that you sell. So we have three modes of three types or three categories in which how you can create items. The first is going to be the items, then the item groups, and then the composite items. So we'll be looking at each of these in detail. So first, talking about the items are individual items that you sell. So the distinguishing features that we offer pertaining to this item is pertaining to the items module is all the items that you sell can be created in Zoho as items. They can be recorded as items, and you can attach images of the products that you sell. You can define reorder levels to each quantity for each items and get notified when the item falls below the certain limit. And you can associate preferred vendors to each item and also have the items categorized based on a specific category. Apart from this, we also talking about the inventory management workflow that we follow. In Zoho, we automatically calculate the stock based on the transactions that you create. So whenever you create a sales transaction, the stock will go down, and whenever you create a purchase transaction, the stock goes up. Apart from this basic inventory tracking options, we do offer advanced levels of inventory tracking, which we'll be discussing in the later part of this session. And talking about the two modes of stock tracking, we do offer two modes of stock tracking. One is the accounting mode of stock tracking, and the other is the physical mode of stock tracking. Accounting mode of stock tracking, it considers the reason behind having two modes of stock tracking is to enable you to make a sale from the accounting perspective, but still have the item physically located in the warehouse. I think when we look at towards the end of the session, you will have a better understanding of the two modes of stock tracking. And the other category is item groups. When you sell multiple variants of the same item, you can make use of this option. For example, when you sell multiple variants of the same item, for example, a shirt, when you sell multiple variants of the same shirt, instead of you having to create all the items individually, the system will automatically create all the items for you based on all the possible permutation and combination, and they will all be grouped under one category. And composite items can be used when you sell two or more items together as one. That is, when you sell a cricketing kit, and if it comprises of a bat, ball, and a helmet. When you sell all these items together as one, the system will automatically, when a cricketing kit is sold, the system will automatically reduce the stock of all the three items. Instead of you having to add each item individually in the sales transaction, the system will automatically, when the kit is added to a sales transaction, when a kit is sold, the system will automatically reduce the stock for all the three items. So now let's take a look at how you can create all these in Zoho. Just live demonstration. I hope you guys can see my screen. Can you please confirm if
We
you're able
can.
to see the screen on chat?
Yeah, I can see it. All right.
Yeah, so this is the item creation page. So we have a set of standard fields like the item name. The SKU is the stock keeping unit, which is the unique identifier for each item. And like I had told, you can add images of your item and record its dimensions, weight. So we have a set of standard fields that can be used to record information pertaining to the item. Apart from this, if you wish to record additional information, you can create custom fields and record the information that is required. So after you create the item, this is how the detail page will look like. Like I told you, we have two modes of stock tracking: the accounting and the physical stock. And the stock, we also have the option to create multiple warehouses, and the stock across the different locations, I mean the different warehouses, can be tracked from the items detail page. This is how this looks like. Talking about the item groups, so these are multiple variants of the same item. In this case, it is a Redmi mobile. The underlying item is the same, and the different variants available are the same phone with different color, RAM, and the size. So when you sell multiple variants of the same item, instead of creating each item individually, you can define the attribute based on which the item varies, and the system will automatically create all the items for you based on all the possible permutation and combination. And if you see all the items here, all the items belonging to this specific group will be grouped under one umbrella. That is, all the items from this group will be listed here. And composite items, this can be used when you sell multiple items together as one. So in this specific case, two items here, black and red, are sold together as one. This does not just mean you can sell only items. Even if you offer services along with items, even that can be clubbed together and sold as one as a combo. So this will reduce the stock of both the items, black and red here. When a batch combo item, this item is sold, stock of both the black and red item will be reduced. So this is the idea behind the composite items. Yeah. So multi-warehouse, like we saw in the earlier in the demo, we do have the option to create multiple warehouses. You when you create transactions, you get the option to select the warehouse from which the stock must be reduced from, or the warehouse to which the stock must be added to, and you can also transfer the stock from one warehouse to the other by creating transfer orders. And you can also run individual reports based for each warehouse, that is to uh, identify the stock available in each warehouse or the sales happening across the different warehouses. We have reports that can help you track the different stock or the inventory across the different warehouses. We're talking about advanced inventory tracking. We have two options that can be used to track your inventory in detail. So one is the serial number tracking and the other is the batch tracking. In the serial number tracking option, you get to associate a unique serial number or a unique code to each quantity of the item that you sell. In batch tracking option, you get to associate a unique batch to each quantity of the item that you have. So serial number tracking can be used by businesses that are into that have a unique code associated, a unique serial number associated with each quantity of the item that they sell. And for batch tracking, they can be used by businesses that are into perishable selling of perishable goods. So if you look at this option, you have the option to associate a unique batch reference number, the manufacturer's batch number, the date of manufacturing, and the expiry date can be tracked using this option. And in the serial number tracking option, you can associate a unique serial number to each quantity of the item that you sell. So apart from the ability to track each quantity of the item that is sold or that is bought, these two options they help you track the movement of items in detail. So if you look at the screen, when you click on, I'll share my screen again. We do have custom views available, and we also have standard views available. These can be used to filter items. So if an item is serial tracked, all the available serial numbers can be viewed from here. And if you click on a specific serial number here, you will be able to track the complete movement of the specific serial number. So this specific serial number was brought into the system by creation of an inventory adjustment. So this particular option can be used when you sell items in warranty. If you wish to validate a warranty request from a customer, you can search for the specific serial number and check if this specific serial number was sold to the specific customer, and if it is under the warranty claim period. So this is one distinguishing feature pertaining to the advanced inventory tracking options.
Awesome. Sorry, Madan. I don't want to
Yeah.
necessarily interrupt, but I do have a poll question, just kind of talking about those inventory management and just seeing what the audience is would like to learn more about. And we'll be able to kind of send them out some handouts. So awesome. I appreciate y'all taking part in the poll. This is our third poll question. And here in a little bit, I'll ask the fourth as well. It looks like definitely advanced inventory tracking would be something more people are interested in. And yeah, if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask in the questions tab as well. We might be able to help you out over there. Cool. I'll give this, yeah, I think we're good. And you can continue.
So moving on to order management, let's discuss about the different options that we have that help effectively manage your orders. So first, in this segment, we'll be discussing about the different options available to help you manage your sales transactions better. And then we'll discuss about the options available for purchase side of things. And then we'll discuss about additional tools, additional options that help manage sales better. So talking about the sales workflow, the preliminary option before going to the sales side of things is the creation of customer or vendor. So even for the purchases, it is creation of vendors. For sales, it is creation of customer. After you create customers, you can create a sales order, and then this is the workflow that we currently offer. You initially create a sales order, then convert it to an invoice, and then fulfill the order by creating a package and a shipment. And then in the purchase side of things, you issue a PO first, and then receive the item as and when the items are received in the warehouse. You record a receipt and then convert it to a bill. Now, I'll be sharing my screen to walk you through how the process is. So initially, we'll create the item. We create the customer. I'm sorry, just a moment. Initially, you create the customer record, and this has a set of standard fields that we have, like the company name, the customer's name, or the contact person within the company can be recorded here, and the tax preference of the company can be tracked here. The currency we also deal in multiple currencies, so the currency of the customer can be tracked from here, and if you offer credits, even that limit can be tracked from here. This is standard field. Even standard fields can be marked as mandatory. So any additional information that is mandatory can be created as a custom field, and they can also be marked as required. So now you create a sales order. When you create a sales order, you select the customer first, add the items that are sold to the specific customer, and select the warehouse from which the stock must be deducted from. And then any other information required, if any, has to be populated. And then we do have approval process for both sales and purchase workflow. So if the records need to be approved by someone superior, you can define approval process, and then after approval is made, only then the transaction will be confirmed. Now after the sales order, you can convert this sales order to an invoice. And then fulfillment can be done using packages and shipments. So you can, first you'll have to create a package containing the list of items that are available that are to be packed in a specific box, and then you can ship it using the different options that we have. We'll be discussing about the different options in the later part of this session. So the workflow is you create a sales order first create the customer record, then create a sales order, then convert it to an invoice, and then fulfill it using packages and shipment. And after this is done, you can also record payments for the invoices made. And if an item is returned due to any reason, you can record a sales return and then issue credit note for the specific customer. This can be done from this option. So the workflow, this is how the sales workflow is. Moving to the purchase workflow, initially you create the vendor record, and after the vendor is created, in the PO creation screen, you add the items. We do support barcode scanning, so instead of you adding the items by manually adding them, you can also scan the code of the items, and the system will automatically populate the item information for you. So this is the workflow. You create a PO, and then when you actually receive the items in the warehouse, you record a receipt and then convert the receipt to a bill. Or you can create the bill first and then receive it later. And partial receiving and partial billing can also be done. This holds good for invoices as well for the sales workflow. You can partially invoice the items and partially pack and ship the items. So this is about the sales and the purchase workflow. So and even for purchase transactions, if you find a defective item, if you receive a defective item from your vendor, you can issue a vendor credit. You can record a vendor credit and record a return. So additional options that enable you to manage sales better is when you're low on stock for a specific item, and if you want to fulfill the order on time, you can convert a sales order to a purchase order without you having to wait. You can automatically convert a sales order to a purchase order, and this until the PO is fulfilled, the sales order will be put on hold. And this is one process. And the other option is drop shipment. If you want your vendor to deliver the items automatically, if you want your vendor to deliver items to your customer directly, you can make use of this option. So after you create a sales order, you can choose to either drop ship the order or back order the order if it is low on stock. So this saves you time from order delay. Another interesting feature that we currently offer is package geometry. This is powered by Zoho's in-house AI called Zia. It helps you visualize how your items can fit into a specific box or a specific package. So the item's dimensions are fetched from the item information, and then if you give the dimensions of your box, the system will automatically help visualize how the different items can fit into the given package dimensions. So this helps you minimize wastage of spaces within the boxes, and it can help you be prepared before order packaging. So other integration options that help do sales better is the marketplace integration and the shopping cart integration. So with respect to shopping cart, we integrate with Shopify and Zoho Commerce. And regarding the marketplace integration, we integrate with Amazon, Etsy, eBay, and other shopping carts that we integrate via third party is BigCommerce and WooCommerce. So the main idea behind the sales channel integration is to empower the customers and empower businesses to have a common platform to centrally manage the stock. So when you sell on multiple platforms, when you sell on say 3 or 4 different online platforms, and when you also have a brick and mortar store, main problem that the primary problem that you have is maintaining stock across the different platforms. To solve this problem, when you integrate with any marketplace, we become the master in terms of stock, and the stock here in Zoho will be uniformly synced across all the integrated sales channel. So this prevents improper stock tracking across different locations. So the workflow behind this integration is initially when you set up the integration, all the items in the sales channel, online sales channel, will be synced with Zoho. And if the items pre-exist in Zoho, they will be mapped with each other. And after the item mapping is done, whenever you receive a sale on the sales channel, the orders will be synced, and then the fulfillment information, that is you can choose. So in this specific case, you can either choose to fulfill the orders in Zoho, or you can fulfill them from Shopify or eBay or any platform that you use. And after the sales order is synced and the shipment information is pulled, the stock will be reduced, and this stock change will trigger a uniform stock update to all the integrated marketplaces. So whenever there is a change in stock in Zoho, this change will be reflected across all the different marketplaces that is integrated. So this is the workflow behind the sales channel integration and the marketplace integration. So talking about the shipping integrations options that we have 2 options. One is you can either fulfill your orders directly on the carrier's website and just have the option to track the packages real time. And the other option is for you to other option that you have is the ability to create shipping labels from within Zoho. So for the first option, that is the option to track orders real time, we offer the aftership integration. And for the shipping carrier integration, we integrate with a list of shipping carriers. So if you have an account with the carrier, you can integrate with us and start creating shipments from within Zoho. So with respect to the shipping carriers, we directly integrate with UPS and USPS, and we integrate with the list of carriers listed here, the shipping carriers listed here via Easy Post. Yeah, so these are the different options. And when you create a shipment, you get to see the option here. So when you create a sales order, you have 2 options. One is to have them just track them real time, and the other option is to generate the option to generate labels from within Zoho. So the ship manually option, it lets you track the shipment real time or just record a shipment. If you physically deliver the locations to your customer, you can use this option. If you want to generate labels from within Zoho, you can make use of this option. So this is about the shipping integrations. And we also integrate with online payment gateways, using which you can receive payments online from your customer. And you can also send out thank you notes to your customer after payment received. And additional options or additional tools that aid order management is we have templates defined for each module. For a sales transaction or invoice or credit notes, for each transactions we have templates defined. You can define your own template, you can customize it to a certain extent, and you can also send out that is, you can also send out email alerts, and for that you can define email templates from within Zoho. And we do support barcode scanning and barcode generation options, and we deal with multiple currencies, and you can have the automatic exchange rate feeds enabled as well. And we have an online API documentation. If at all you want to create transactions from third-party applications, you can refer to our API documentation and create transactions using our API.
Awesome. Hey, before you continue on, I wanted to launch our fifth polling question real quick. And let's go ahead and do that. It pertains to that last slide, just a hint. But what additional tools that aid order management? Cool. Really, I guess here's another hint. No answer would be incorrect. Awesome. I'll give this about 5 more seconds so you continue, okay? All right, I think we're good to go. Thank you for that.
So talking about the different automation options that we have, if you want to automate a repeated task, we have 4 different categories using which you can automate repeated tasks. One is email alerts, the other is field updates, webhooks, and custom functions. We'll be discussing each of them in detail now. So email alerts. So the use case behind using the email alert option is when you want to trigger an email alert when a specific criteria is met. For example, when you want to notify a warehouse personnel when you receive a sales order, you can define an email alert. You can define the workflow that in such a way that when a sales order is created, or when a sales order is edited, or when the sales order is belongs to a specific criteria, you can define the filter of your own choice. So when this specific criteria is met, you automatically an email will be triggered. So this, for such cases, you can make use of email alerts. The other option is to update a specific field. So when you want to update a specific field when a predefined criteria is met, you can make use of this option. And one such use case is when you want to automatically update a salesperson based on the customer, you can make use of the field update option. Then webhooks, if you want to notify a third party by sending out instant web notification when a specific event occurs in Zoho, you can make use of webhooks. So for example, if you want to notify a SMS service provider whenever a payment is made, you can make use of this option. So the subset of all these 3 automation can be called as custom function. So you can write your own piece of code using Zoho's scripting language called Deluge, and this will be a subset of all the different automations available. So that is, if you want to automatically create an invoice, or if you want to auto apply discounts when a specific customer, when an invoice is created for a specific customer, or if you want to send out emails or any other options, you can make use of the custom function option. And talking about the report section, we have detailed reports available for each section. Like if you want to, we have report section split across different sections. We have reports available for sales activity to track the sales activity, and then we have reports available to track the inventory. And just to give you a glimpse, I'll just share my screen. So the report section is divided into different sections, and each section gives you information pertaining to, say, for the inventory section, it gives you details about the inventory valuation, the FIFO cost law tracking, the aging summary. So each report, you can understand what information the report gives based on the name of the report. They are intuitive enough, and they give you. And we also have customization options available within the reports. You can customize the certain customization options are available, like based on the date, availability, etc. And for the sales activity, we have the sales reports, and to track the billing, the purchases and expenses, we have a different section. So any information pertaining to your business can be obtained from this from the report section. And if in case you need any custom report to be built, you can make use of our Zoho Analytics integration. We integrate with Zoho Analytics. So the data here will be pushed to Analytics, and then you can create a custom report of your own using the Analytics integration. So We also have an iOS app and the Android app. Both of these apps have inbuilt barcode scanning capabilities, so you can manage your inventory on the go using both our apps. And you can reach out to us at support@zohoinventory.com for any queries that you have.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Yeah, I mean, I definitely see the value in inventory management. I did want to ask a poll question. This kind of leads us into Marie-Andrée's presentation. I'm going to be asking 2 poll questions before she gets started, and I think it'll really shape up how we kind of talk through her slides as well. So let me go ahead and launch this one. I kind of saved it for last, even though it says 2, just to kind of see where the audience is at. Yeah, so it looks pretty, I mean, not 50-50, but looks like everything's pretty much split in between people not necessarily ever using an inventory tool before. And they've used it with other inventory management tools. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So here's my other question I wanted to ask y'all. And basically, is your inventory management tool integrated with your accounting software? And this is where it gets a little fishy, because if it's not necessarily integrated, you could find you in a situation where you're having to do a lot more work than you were previously. Or if you could automate it as much as possible, you're doing a little bit more work that way. And I'm sure Marie-Andrée can attest to that. And also some of the cleanup I'm sure she has to do. It is because things aren't necessarily integrated properly. So awesome. It looks like yeah, it looks like no, not yet is a majority, and so that's great to see. I mean, it's not great to see necessarily, but hopefully you can see the benefit of this whenever Marie-Andrée goes through her business case. So Marie-Andrée, I'm going to transfer control over to you, and we'll have you introduce yourself here in a little bit. Here, let me take control away, and I will get everything kind of started and transfer over to you.
Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah, and you can go ahead and push the slide forward, and it'll be your intro slide.
Okay.
One more. And there you go. Yeah, so Marie-Andrée, a little introduction for her. She's been a partner for a while, and she's been one of our valued Zoho Finance partners, but she also touches a lot more areas within Zoho and also in the business world. So if you go to her website, you can kind of see her services, and she does accounting, financial modeling, and business intelligence. We have talked to her in the past about analytics, and she's very well versed in that and helping her clientele out in that world as well. But yeah, so Marie-Andrée, if you want to tell us a little bit more about your firm and what you guys got going on.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, sure. I started Cofinia in 2016, and one of my first preoccupation is to find an accounting software for Cofinia. And I was coming from a bigger enterprise, and I wanted to find a tool that I could, upload, export, have fun with the data because of the nature of my training as an accountant and as a CPA. So, and I first came across Zoho Crm. So then I saw that there was Zoho Books. So I said, okay, I'm going to try that. And I tried Zoho Books, and then I was really impressed with it. And coming from Quebec, we have the provincial sales tax, and it was taking into account our particularities. So I was really happy with that. So I first used it for myself, and then migrated all my bookkeeping clients onto Zoho, and then I started doing implementation, and one thing led to another. We started using for Cofinia about 16 or 17 Zoho apps, and starting implementing them also for clients. So now we're a team of 18, and we do a lot of apps in the Zoho One subscription. So
yeah, no, that's great. And also naturally with your accounting background, I'm sure you that's whenever you started venturing out into analytics and seeing how you can utilize that for businesses as well. But yeah, so I'll let you kind of get started with your business case, and I'll be kind of in and out. And yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Nathan. So I wanted to talk to you about. I put some slide pretty quickly. I'm sorry if there are some typos in French translation, because I always think in French first. But
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
bear with me. So the first business case, and I've 3 business case for inventory. I wanted to share. The main one was the integration we did for one of our clients that is B2B and B2C online clothing store. They sell to retail store, big orders for their spring or summer collection, and they sell on a day-to-day basis to consumers. And they process over 200 to 300 orders a day, depending on the period in the year. And before using Zoho, it was kind of a little bit of a struggle. They used Shopify for their online store. They have over 7,000 products on the store, so it's a big store. But there was no integration with their accounting systems. So they had to use a lot of Excel spreadsheet for managing purchase, calculated costs, and maintaining inventory to track the information also. And they only done adjustment once a year for their inventory. So during the year they didn't have any real clue on their profitability, their margin. They were not able to analyze their costs or marketing costs. There's a lot of marketing costs in when you're doing online business. And there was a lot of pain trying to reconcile which client did pay and did not pay, because it was all done, with monthly posting and a bundle of revenue and AR accounts and things like that. So it was kind of hectic for them each time they tried to figure out, their profitability and look over at their numbers at the month end and try to analyze things. So when we tried, sorry, yeah.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I when the clientele I used to work with, definitely a lot of blue collar in Houston, and whenever you would run into a client that would be in situations like this where things weren't automated and they weren't able to kind of see really their inventory management levels, or like their AR, AP, and kind of managing all that. Really, how they work is they just live by what's happening in their bank account, and they're not able to really react to things like they could if they had some sort of software in place. And I'm sure you'll kind of go through that and see how you help them.
Yeah. You're right, Nathan. And one of the thing is that, like for this client, but a lot of other enterprise or company these days with COVID and everything, the ones that were already online, most of them expanded fast if they were able to have their stock or purchase. So when you grow fast, it's a huge stress on cash. And if you don't have, if you cannot predict what's going to come, then it's a little bit harder to plan your funds and maybe try to have like an increase on your credit line, or go have some fundings from banks and make sure that you can be in meeting the need of your client, or the what's coming in from your online store. So this is something where the CFO is coming in, because you can help and plan. But if you don't have any numbers in, and it's kind of hard to analyze that and be really proactive with it. So what we did for the client, we started implementing. At first was like Zoho Books, and we talked about inventory. Is it integrating with Shopify? And said, well, yes, it's integrating with Shopify. So we planned that also in the project. And then we started doing bookkeeping for them, because now it's kind of detailed level of transactions. So it's nice when you want to analyze your numbers, but it's a lot of work also at first, because it's so different, using Zoho Inventories or Books. It's so different from previous desktop accounting system. So there's a time to adjust, and once you have the ball rolling, it's get easier and easier, and then after that it's way faster. But at the beginning, most of the time, it's kind of time consuming with any implementation, not Zoho, but any new system. It's always a time where you have to figure out all the new processes and everything. So then after that, we came across some things that was not taken into account in the sync between inventory and Shopify. So we use Flow, and we use also analytics. So those two apps came in to make sure for internal controls and to speed up or automate also some processes. So I'm going to review that in the next slides. So just a few warnings, because there's not much information on the integration between inventory and Shopify. So you need to choose carefully when you're doing the integration. There's no historical report in your inventory in Shopify. So it's mainly, one of the great things is that it's actual inventory real time. But when you're an accountant, you need to have like historical pictures of things. So to tie to the balance sheet, you need to have like the view, what was the inventory, count at for instance, February 28th. So you could have that tied to your book and your balance sheet. So choose carefully, and when you do the migration or the integration, make sure that you have like a report that is print out from Shopify to make sure that you can come back to that if there's something that's not going the way you think it's going to be. If you also use a lot of Shopify plugins, my client used a lot of those, and it created some of discrepancies because it's not only Shopify with inventory that it's integrated. It's kind of like 2 or 3 or 4 apps that are at the same time integrated. So sometimes it can create some different not problem, but things are not done the way that you think it's going to be, and you have to make sure that you change your process a little bit. The other thing is the SKU. We say SKU in French, so maybe it's the English accent, but it's SKU. You said earlier, I think Nathan or Madan, but so you have to have a primary key. My client has a lot of items named the same, and it was a struggle, and sometimes he forgot because it's not needed in Shopify to have like a primary key. So we struggled with that at the beginning, because there was some transactions that were not synced because of the match between Shopify and inventory was not done properly. Also, clean up your product list prior to do your implementation. If you have like a product that are inactive or you don't sell anymore and things like that, it's as I said earlier, he had 7,000 SKUs. So it was a lot of items, and maybe half of them were not active at the point we did the migration. So he always renew new product. He has collections coming in every quarter. So this is something that it's important to clean up. So just make sure that you have all the relevant information in your system. Another thing is there's a way of doing things. So first you have your product created in Shopify, and then it's going to be pushed to inventory. And if you have already a product in inventory, then you can tie them together. But there's a process there that you need to be aware prior to activate the sync. And also there's a lot of parameters you can choose from. And it's kind of you have to think about how you want to work. We saw that Madame showed you a little the process that it is in Zoho Inventory and the way things with, for instance, the shipping and if you have the integration with other like Etsy or if you have integration with Amazon. These are the things that is not, as fluid as, putting the switch on. You just have to make sure that you're aware of how it works, how it is kind of a live thing that thinks for itself. So you need to understand how it thinks. And then once everything is integrated, make sure that you have always the same routine. So all come in transaction, so purchase transaction or even inventory adjustment are done in Zoho Inventory to make sure that it pushes the information and it creates an instant sync afterward. So these were kind of a few things that, we knew some, we didn't knew some. So when we did the integration, some of those made us a little bit search a little bit why was what was happening, with the result. So just a few example here. One of the challenge was the sync import orders, but it doesn't create the invoice and the payment because most of the time the shipment and then you do the invoice and you do the shipment, but you can have your payment gateway integrated into Shopify, and it's gonna push in the integration. It's gonna push like the payment gateway into a field in the order, and you could use this. But if you have like 200 orders a day, you don't want to have this done. And at the point that we did the integration, all the fulfillment of the orders were still done in Shopify. The warehouse of my client was not structured to process or change to fulfill the shipment from inventory. So we decided to keep that in Shopify. So what we did is we integrated Zoho Flow to create the invoice and then create the payment. So all information are complete in Zoho Inventory and Books, of course, and done, automatically, not done manually. So that was one of the challenge that we had. Another challenge that we had that we I think it's Madame that helped us on that one actually. So Maxime and I, that is one of my colleagues, and we work on this. We struggled to find out why some orders were not synced to Zoho Inventory. And one of the things that we found out is that Shopify and Zoho does not calculate sales tax the same way. So in Shopify, there's rounding of running items tax. If you have some promotions and other third app that are integrated. So since my client has a big, some of their orders are really big, it created difference, and there's a trigger at 3 cents or more of difference between the way the order is calculated in Zoho Inventory than the way it's calculated in Shopify, then the order is not synced. So what we did is, since we did the integration between Shopify and Zoho Analytics, what we did is we created a report to see what were the orders that were missing. And the way that we built the reports, the same way that we can upload them in Zoho Inventory. So it's not something that takes us a really long time. We do that if we have some every week. So we run the report and then upload, and takes maybe 10 minutes. But now we make sure that we have all orders synced in. It's more of an internal control as well. So Analytics was really great for that. So to the benefit of the integration, of course, there's no more manual entry to the accounting system. For the purchase, it was kind of a struggle, and we came across another issue is that my client was calculating landed cost manually in his Excel spreadsheet, and it was over charging or calculating the amount. So his inventory, there was a mistake in the evaluation. So at year end, we had to do like a correction for that, and it's not, you try to have the exact value. So now with the process of applying landed cost directly from Zoho Inventory, then that's great. We also were able to follow B2B accounts. So it's big accounts receivable, and he needs to send automatic reminders to his clients once the order is fulfilled. So that was great. And when you sync your bank account, so you have all your incoming and the clients that are paying by wire transfer or everything. So you have all that into your bank feed, so you could tie that to the invoice easily. Of course, you have your correct inventory value each month. So for my client, was a really good improvement, because now he has his P&L every month, and he can drill down in it and have everything, look at the compared numbers from month to month, from period to period, which was kind of not really relevant with no inventory valuation only once a year. And then another thing that is cool in Zoho, so you have tags, and we created like tags for separating B2B and B2C revenues. So now in the P&L, we can see both line of business, and it compare the which one is more profitable and where the revenues are coming in. So that was really helpful for them. So we're still implementing we're still improving. So we're looking at implementing maybe Zoho Commerce for their B2B clients. So to separate that and remove the issue of the big orders with the tax discrepancies. So that's in the process. Quickly, two other business cases I wanted to talk to you about. One for a construction company. They had big project, not much, maybe a few projects a year, but there's no inventory adjustment to project. And some of the time to their warehouse, they have they buy a container of raw material, and they want to use this raw material and post it to project. But if you don't use the bill and associate the bill to your project, then you're not able to have an inventory adjustment to your project and have a full P&L or for profitability report for your project. So what we did is we used tags to do that, and you can do inventory adjustment with tags. So that was a way to solve this issue. But of course, this client has not a lot of projects. So it's not suitable if you have a many project, because you have to create tags every time. So it's not the best way. You could do it with an analytics reports, but it's another subject.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one I wanted to talk about is the cabling company. It's another of our client. And so they install cabling to project, and they wanted to have like a report to make sure that they have all stock available prior to installing and going to install for the project. And so we use a new field in the order, and it's kind of a confirmed date of installation. So we did then an analytics report to have kind of a MRP, a material requirement planning report. And so the planning, they can do the planning and see, with what's coming in, what they already order, with the expected date of delivery that they have with this vendor. Make sure that they have all the stock in hand and prepare all the product that is needed for particular projects. So that was another thing that we do, and it's really easy with the integration with analytics and inventory. Well, really easy once you have figured out your report and your process, but it's something that there's no real development for it. It's your report and analytics, so it's great. So I hope I everybody followed me. I tried to cover quickly every slides, but I'm not sure, Nathan, if you have some questions or want to
Yeah.
talk about
Yeah.
some stuff.
We have about 5 more minutes until our break, and obviously you can tell by your board in the back that these things don't just happen overnight, and it takes a lot of planning. And you could see from kind of the benefits of what you did with your first client is you not only saved them time with how you automated things, but you also helped them with accuracy in the reporting. And now every single month they're able to quickly and efficiently see their inventory stock and also see kind of what their business should look like and forecast accurately
Yeah.
going forward. And I think automation, that's something that a lot of businesses don't necessarily understand. I mean, everybody understands like, hey, you want to automate as much as possible, but whenever you're sitting there, I know for me, I'm an example of not the best use case, but a lot of times I'll just do something because in my mind I think, it'll just take me just as long to come up with some sort of automation for it. But then if you're doing that every single week, that's whenever you start to think about, hey, well, every single week I'm spending 30 minutes doing this, whenever I could just spend, maybe an hour 1 week and figure out the automation. Or it probably might be longer depending on the situation. Like obviously this situation took longer than 1 hour of work. But that potentially could save them so much in time. And, obviously in the world we live in now, time is money essentially. So yeah, if y'all have any questions, just go ahead and put in the questions tab. I do see one from Anne. Anne is another partner of ours over here at Zoho, a finance partner. And she was asking, she's typically used custom functions to create invoices and payments from Shopify orders. And she's kind of wondering, is Zoho Flow much easier to do this?
Well, it's because we don't have people in house to do custom functions, so we are not programmers. So with my team, we have like a power user of tools like Excel or analytics and things like that. So it was easier for us to use Zoho than create a custom function. But I'm sure it's doing the same thing. It's just that it was for us. It was the this easier way. And I think you're right. It can be more robust if you have a custom function. I think Flow at some point have some uh, uh, it stopped and you have to kind of reload it. I'm not sure. It's my colleague Bila that is working on that. So I've seen a few emails, but you have a trigger and you receive an email when the flow is stopped. But I'm sure if you have the people to do the custom function, it's a great way to use these possibilities. And that's what I like about Zoho. I mean, it's so versatile for all clients. I have clients in all different type of industries, and I think so far over the last 5 years that we've done implementation, there's one client I was not able to find a solution for them in Zoho. It was a printing company that was using ads to pay for their publishing pamphlet, and they had some really big requirements, and they didn't want to spend on custom function or code, no development. So I kind of challenged me a lot, but I didn't find a suitable solution for them. And it was the first time for all the projects that I did that I was not able to find a solution. So but I guess there's so many ways that you could use, so that's what you have to keep in mind.
And that's
one area, Marie-Andrée, we kind of struggle a little bit with is point of sale solutions.
Yeah.
Have you seen many good ones? Are you doing any point of sale solutions with Zoho?
Well, most of our clients are using Stripe.
Just Stripe. Okay.
Yeah. So we use also Forte. I have a few clients that we looked at other solution, and at some point the POS is kind of a big question mark. I know
Right.
that there's a solution here in Montreal. I think it's PandaPay. I know they have for stores and the payment terminal, but it's not online integrated yet. So, but I've not talked to them in the last few months, so I'm not sure if they're came to this at this one. I could take a look and send back the information to you, Val,
Yeah,
and
if you
maybe
don't
you could
mind.
share. Yeah, I'm
We
gonna
have
do
one
that.
in India where we got a whole partnership. We're involved with it. It's working well, but it's kind of only available in India. So we need something over here, I think, to run things a little better for those folks that really want to use something more robust.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for sure. And then, yeah, so I'll go and launch as if anybody can think of any other questions for Marie-Andrée, she's definitely here and she's a very valued asset as well. But I'll ask a poll question where you can also have her reach out to you if you have any inventory questions. And I'm sure she'd be happy to help out. And kind of what she was talking earlier, that a big thing with Zoho is we have so much to offer and there's a solution for really anything out there. And what Kafinia's seen and a lot of our partners have seen is that um, the limit is your imagination in a lot of ways. And it sounds kind of corny, but Marie-Andrée comes from the accounting background. There's a lot of routes you can go in accounting, but automation and like workflow improvements while obtaining kind of an accounting mindset, I think that's pretty unique. And that's kind of what we try to strive for with our partnerships, just because, like what she's saying, is pretty much any business, there's some sort of solution within Zoho. And if you're doing something with a third party application, there's probably a solution within the Zoho apps. And that's whenever you can start thinking about buying, a la carting. Other applications are moving over to Zoho One Suite, which includes everything. And tomorrow we'll kind of go more over Zoho One. But yeah, any last thoughts on that, Marie-Andrée?
One other thing I would like to talk to you about is the structure of information. I was talking to a client, and he was asking me where you're going with this. I was asking a lot of questions, and prior to the integration and the implementation, and I was saying, okay, you're looking at your numbers at the end of the month, and you're going to your P&L, and you have like 200 accounts which represent your product. I mean, how do you don't see the big picture. So if you have like a great way to structure information, to have your categories for your line of them, and you have like the report saying, okay, by category compared to last year, which line of business or which line of product is improving and which one is not improving and the sales part and everything. So if you don't think about the structure of information prior to your migration or your implementation, you lose like what a good chance to have a better way to analyze your business. And this is something at some point that if you only focus on inventory or only focus on sale, you maybe lose a little bit of an opportunity to have a better understanding of why your business is so profitable right now or why it's decreasing in profitability. So that's my kind of a CFO comment, if I
Yeah,
may.
no. I mean, it's very valid. And what's great about, I mean, we could talk about what's great about Zoho all day, but right before we go to the break, it's just these tools are available for small businesses and medium sized businesses now. Before, it was more these ERP tools and it was higher level, higher cost to get into it. But now that, the industry we're in now, this cloud-based accounting, cloud-based subscription inventory, all our tools are available for, a decently relatively low cost, and it's available for everybody to use. So let's go ahead and take a quick break, and you'll see Marie-Andrée later whenever we get into subscriptions, but we're going to take a 10-minute break and we'll be back. I'll be back on at 25, but feel free to join at 27. That's whenever we'll get started. So thanks for hanging in there and being a part of this seminar. All right, everyone, I'm back, but I don't think everybody else is back. So let's kind of wait for a little bit for people to get back in. So our next trainers are in. Let's see if they can hear me okay. So Gotham, can you hear me okay?
You're coming through very clear to me, Nathan. This is Val.
Hey, Val. Okay, so Heather, a link to join right now.
You need to go have that person just sign up for the session quick. It's free, so just have them go sign up.
Let me see. I don't know. But let me see if I can get Gotham on here. No,
I don't think through one link you can.
yeah, if you still have your link, you should be able to send it to her. But let me.
You talking about the link that just shows all the sessions and stuff?
Well, yeah, I'm saying Heather if she sends her link to her colleague.
Yeah, hang on. Let me get because then that colleague would need to sign up quick through the portal.
Yeah. Here, I have the link, so I'll send it.
Oh, you got it? Okay, I was just going to go get it. All right.
Here you go. It looks like Gotham's in here. Let's test your mic real quick, Gotham. I think you're in control of the you're in control of the slides, Gotham, just to let you know. And let's see here. So everybody in the chat, if you're ready to go, it looks like we're ready. Can I get a confirmation in chat? Actually, let me launch a poll question that says, are you back? No one would answer no. I don't know why I put it.
No, I'm not back.
Yeah. It's like the "Are you up?" thing.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to have some kind of response. So no,
No,
work's
are you
okay.
asleep?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you awake? Are you asleep? Yeah.
Yeah. If you can, everybody just go through there and answer. You can even answer no, but I'll know you're back. But yeah, let's try to get everybody to answer. If we can get at least 50 people to answer, we'll get started. Well, I don't want to necessarily put that threshold there, but go ahead and go through that. I'll give it about one more minute and then we'll be started. Cool. And
hello.
Hey, we hear you. I'm gonna give you control here in a second. Just do a little introduction, and then it looks like.
Hello.
Yeah, hey, you hear me, Gotham?
Yeah, Nathan, I can hear you now.
Okay, awesome. Good to see you. Good to hear from you. So I will go ahead and we will go ahead and start and move forward. So this part of the session is streamlining your sales and billing operations with Zoho Subscription. It should be another 45-minute session. We'll have some questions at the end for Gotham and his team. And let me introduce them here in a little bit. Now. So we have Gotham, who is over on the Zoho Subscriptions team, and he's in pre-sales. And we have Badri, who is the technical support engineer, and he will be in the questions panel kind of helping out there. So Gautam, go ahead and introduce yourself, and I'll turn my camera on so we can see
Hi,
each other.
Nathan.
Hey.
Thank you for the brief introduction. All right. So myself, I'm Gautam. Hope everyone is doing good. I'm a Zoho subscription product expert. And yeah, we will get started. Today, I will be showing how you can streamline your sales and billing operation with Zoho subscription and CRM integration.
Let me transfer control over to you. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
You're good.
Yeah. So are you able to see that?
Yeah, we can see your screen, so go.
All right. Okay. So first, initially, we will take a look at how businesses have gradually moved towards subscription services. And according to a study by Gartner, it says that in next 2 years, there will be a lot of services that will be moving towards the subscription business. And it's predominantly seen in today's scenario. And these are some of the famous application that we use it on a regular basis. And in fact, it has become an indispensable part of our regular life. And we can expect more subscription business coming into the market by 2023. And when it comes to subscription billing model, there are certain factors and challenges you need to consider. For example, so nowadays people go for subscription option is that so they are not committed to any single product or service. And also they pay only for what they're using for. And if they don't like it, they can change or cancel the subscription at any point in time. So in order to cater a wider range of audience, so you need to have
Hey,
multiple
Gautam,
pricing.
sorry to interrupt. I don't think they can see the slide you're on, so let me give you control real quick. I hate to interrupt like that. Just want to make sure everybody's kind of on the same slide. So I just transfer control over to you right now. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Now you're good to go. Yeah. So sorry about that. So
All right.
now that we're paused anyways, I'll go ahead and ask a poll question just to kind of get that out of the way.
All right.
So
I hope you're able to see my screen now.
yeah, we can see it. So kind of going in line with your thing about subscription services, the poll question is, on average, how much do people spend on subscription services a month? This is something I talk to my family members about every day, and my son's only 18 months, so he doesn't speak back. And
Okay.
so I guess he's spending the money. I don't know what's happening to the money, but we're probably in the $2,000 area. Not, I mean, I hope not, but in the average actually is 270. So if you're doing subscriptions, or if you have a business that you think a subscription might be a good place for, people are paying for it, and I think people just enjoy being on subscriptions as well, because you don't really think about it whenever you're paying monthly. So yeah, I'll let you kind of continue on, Gautam, and sorry to interrupt.
All right, no worries. So yeah, so as you said, so there are a lot of subscription business coming up in the market, and when it comes to subscription billing model, there are major challenges, and you need to consider certain factors when you want to adapt to a subscription model. So one of them is so you need to provide multiple subscription plan for your end users based on the value proportion of your service. And as a subscription business, you might be onboarding customers through multiple channels. Say your customers can subscribe directly from the website, or you might have a sales or finance team who can onboard your customers. And in such cases, the data comes from multiple sources, and each customer can be billed on a different day with a different amount. So managing subscription becomes very tedious over the period. And so one of the major challenges would be managing customer subscription lifecycle. And next is the payment collection part. So you need to provide a flexibility for your customers to collect payments, and you need to have multiple modes offer for your customers to make payment. And as you all might know that, so subscription business significantly relies on recurring revenue, and it is a lifeline for any subscription business. And in order to retain the existing customers, so you need to have multiple follow-ups. And in case of payment failure, all the data should be in one place so that your team can communicate with the customer before the renewal and upgrade the subscription. And the most sensitive data is being collected here. That is the payment information, which is collected in the subscription billing model. And the major challenge would be security and compliance. Let me take a moment to quickly walk you through the agenda that we have planned for next 35 minutes. So we will look at the Zoho subscription and CRM capabilities, its integration benefits, and the configuration between the application. And finally, we will see how a business gets benefited and they onboard their customers and streamline the sales and billing operation using Zoho subscription and CRM integration. So the challenges that we spoke about in order to overcome all those, so we have built an application called Zoho Subscription. It is an online recurring billing and subscription management software. So when we say a subscription business, so there are different categories, there are different industries involved, and not every industry will have the same billing process. For example, if you take a telecom industry or a OTT platform or a software as a service, so each one will have a different pricing model and their needs would be completely different. So in order to adapt to all the platform. So we have built an application which would be customizable and it can best meet your requirement. So you will have multiple option with variable pricing tiers that can be created for your customers. And you can provide a seamless onboarding experience by offering a PCI compliance checkout page, which can be securely listed in your website and collect payment online. And you can very well empower your customers by providing a client portal access and they can manage the complete subscription lifecycle. And our AR automation will take care of the recurring billing and the payments. And in case of renewal payment failure, we have a running management system in place, which will help you to retain existing customers and avoid involuntary churn. And all invoices are tax compliance. You can also configure invoice taxes based on your region. And it gives you a complete SaaS metrics such as monthly recurring revenue, average revenue per user, lifetime value, and revenue recognition report, which will give you valuable insight on your ongoing subscription retention rate, and you can monitor your business health in one go. So next, we will take a look at Zoho CRM. Zoho CRM is a sales CRM application that will help you to manage your sales, support, and marketing in one platform. CRM software helps you to build valuable relationship with your customer and it can maintain the complete interaction with your existing and potential customers. So communicating with a customer might sound simple, but it can very quickly get chaotic if your data aren't properly organized. So this is where a system like CRM comes into handy. And with CRM, you can store relevant conversation with all clients. So this benefit will provide more insight for your different teams working in your organization to generate more leads and win more deals. The integration between Zoho subscription and CRM is focused and it's aimed at simplifying the process of managing your organization and its customers as easy as possible. So this integration will benefit different teams in your organization to manage all your customer subscription related information and their invoices in Zoho CRM. So the real-time data sync, that is the subscription and Zoho CRM integration, is two-way synced at a regular interval. And the sales team can access the subscription details directly within CRM. And your finance team can access the CRM details within Zoho subscriptions. So this integration will benefit different teams to work together and onboard new customers, upsell or cross-sell any service without any hurdles. And this will completely avoid double data entry, and it will eventually speed up the sale process. So the need breakdown of the subscription details like the status, the billing amount, the renewal date, along with the recent activities of the subscription will help your team to analyze the customer behavior from the ground and provide them better support. And we all know that subscription business is completely built on existing customers and recurring revenue. And with this integration, your sales team can first send personalized email notification and increase the cross sell. This will eventually increase the customer lifetime value. Now, you can just think of who manages your customer subscription lifecycle in your organization. So it can be your sales team or finance team, or both of them can work together. You can just think about it. So now we will see how you can configure this integration. So in order to configure this integration between Zoho Subscription and CRM, so you need a Zoho Subscription organization and CRM organization. This integration would work both with trial and paid version. So first, I'm in the Zoho Subscription application. So in the application, you need to head to Settings, go to Integration, and click on Zoho Apps and connect with CRM. Once you connect with CRM, you will have the drop-down option where you can select your Zoho CRM organization. And you can mention the ZSC key. You can generate the key from the link provided. And here, Zoho Subscription and CRM can be connected with the accounts and contacts module. For example, so the accounts, if you decide to sync the accounts or the contact module, it will be mapped with the customer module in Zoho Subscription. If you choose accounts and their contacts, the accounts module will be mapped with customer and their contacts will be mapped with the contact person module in Zoho Subscription. So if you're selecting accounts and their contact, you need to ensure that all your accounts in Zoho CRM has a contact person associated. And next, you can select how the sync has to be. It can be a one-way or a two-way sync. And you can just highlight how you want to manage the data duplication. It can be cloned, overwritten, or it can be skipped. And finally, you can map the field between Zoho Subscriptions and CRM. So that will eventually display in both the application. And this is the final step that you would be doing in Zoho Subscription. Next, you would be stepping into Zoho CRM. So before you proceed with the integration, you need to ensure that Zoho Subscription and CRM are in the same base currency. So once the base currency is set to the same, you can head to Settings, click on Zoho under Marketplace, and select Zoho Finance Suite. And once you do that, you will have an option to select your Zoho Subscription organization. And you can enable subscription and recurring billing option and save this integration. So once it has been done, your integration would be enabled. So far we saw the capabilities and integration benefit of Zoho Subscription and CRM and its configuration. So now I will take a business. Zprime is an OTT platform. It is a startup. And in order to cater a wider range of audience and to compete with the big players in the market, so they have two different mode of onboarding customers. So one is sales driven, the other one self-driven model. So first we will see self-driven model. So in self-driven model, the customer will visit the website, they select the plan and subscribe for the service. In sales-driven, the sales team, customer success team would engage with the customer and onboard them manually. So we will see the self-driven model.
Hey,
So,
before you continue with the self-driven, I will launch a poll question real quick. And once again, sorry to interrupt. But yeah, so really kind of, I wanted to save that for Marie-Andrée's, but I didn't want to get it out of order. But yeah, have you used Zoho subscriptions before? So this is a really good overview of what subscriptions can do for your business, and kind of on the same topic as what we've been, before with the inventory conversation, is automation. And I know with a lot of service-based businesses, if you set up a subscription, it really takes away a lot of that manual labor, not manual labor, but to those interactions where you're sending out invoices and not necessarily getting them paid. So if you have some sort of subscription model in place, it allows you to, get paid on a regular basis, so you can really predict your revenue going forward. But yeah, so looks like everyone kind of answered the poll questions. And if you missed a poll question, you can go back in the polls tab and click one. But yeah, continue, Gotham. Sorry about that.
all right, no worries. So in the self-driven model, the customer visits the website and they can select the plan and they can choose the subscription plan. And once they choose, they would be taken to the checkout page, which is hosted by Zoho Subscription. And in here, they will have an option to create an account, billing address, and they can mention the payment information and subscribe. So once it's done, they get access to the service. And post subscription has been created. So Zprime has used Zoho Subscriptions client portal, which has been offered for their customers to manage the subscription. So in the customer portal, the client can manage their subscriptions on their own. For example, they can purchase any additional service. They can move from the existing plan. They can upgrade, downgrade. They can pass or resume a subscription or even cancel a subscription. So now we will see how Zprime has implemented this using Zoho subscriptions. Correct. So here I'm in the Zoho subscription application now. So initially, when you step into the application, you need to set up the organization. So the organization profile name, this portal URL, I will come in a moment. You can set up the industry type, business type, location, and company address. So along with that, you can mention the primary contact email address. So any communication between you and your customer will be sent from this particular email address. And the portal URL is a public URL. So you can use this URL and embed it in your website and allow your customers to access the portal. And you will have the complete preference of the portal from your end. For example, if you don't want any specific modules to be enabled for your customers, let's say you don't want your customer to cancel a subscription, in such cases, you can disable that and save it. And your customer will not see that option in the portal. And the next thing you can do is that, so you can configure the dunning management. In case of recurring renewal failures, so this dunning management will help you to retry the payment, and you can set up different retries on different intervals.
Nathan,
And
I don't think
every
they can see his demo screen.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Are you sharing your screen, Gotham?
yes, I am.
Let's try to reshare that real quick. You're moving the slide. Yeah, sorry about that. It's at the bottom. Should be.
So just a moment. So let me share my screen.
Yeah, there you go.
That will
Okay.
help.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I hope you're able to see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can now. Yeah.
All right. So I was just starting with the demo. So let me just continue here. So initially, when you sign up, so you can check for you can upload the logo, the name, and the portal URL. I will come in a moment. And you can mention the industry type, location, and the company email address. So from this email, your customer communication will be done. And as I mentioned, so the portal can be configured from your end. So the portal URL is a public URL. You can use this URL to embed in your website. And you will have the complete access for the portal, like to cancel, or you can allow your customers to pass a resume or enable auto charge, and all these options will be available for you in the portal. And next is the dunning management. So you can configure a payment retries on different intervals, and during the renewal, if there is any payment failure, a communication email will be sent to your customers. And this email can be completely customizable. It will be sent with a payment link, and you can have yourself CC. And this will help you to retain your existing customers and avoid involuntary churn. And you can set up taxes. The taxes can be set manually, or we have an integration with Avalara for sales tax automation. And next is the email communication. So for a subscription life cycle, so right from the customer subscribes till he turns to churn, so there will be multiple action that would take place in the intermediate time, like an upgrade, downgrade, or renewal will happen on a regular basis. So if you want to send a communication email to your customers, you can just enable these notification, and all these notification comes with a default template. So these template can be completely customizable, and you can have yourself CC. And next thing you can do is that, so you will have to configure a payment gateway account. So Zoho Subscription is integrated with a payment gateway for processing payment. So you can connect with any one of the payment gateways, and then you need to head back to the product module. So the service that is being offered to your customers can be created as a product. So you can create a new product, and under the product, you can create multiple plans. So here, Z Prime is offering a monthly plan and a yearly plan. So they offer it in two frequency, monthly and yearly frequency. So you can create a plan by mentioning the name, providing a code, and you can define the pricing, and you can set the billing frequency here from weekly, monthly to yearly. And the billing cycle can be set. It can be auto renew until cancel, or you can set an expiry cycle. So for example, if you set an expiry cycle, it can be used on a contract based. So let's say if this particular subscription should expire after a year, you can set the billing cycle, or else you can keep it as auto renew until cancel. So if you can provide free trial or collect one-time setup charges, and the tax type can be mentioned. And you can, if you want to show any description in the invoice that is sent out to the customer, you can mention the plan description here. And you can check and include in widget. A pricing table will be automatically created for the product. I will show you in a moment. And this one, when you allow this, so your customers will have option to change the plan option in the client portal. So you can list out all the features, and the revenue that is made from this particular account, from this particular plan, can be associated to any specific account. And if you're using Zoho Books, it would be helpful for you in the accounting part. And similar to plan creation, if you're offering any additional service to your customers, so that can be created as an add-on. So overage the plan pricing. So the add-on can be associated. So similar to the plan creation, you can create an add-on. An add-on can be created either as a one-time or a recurring add-on. So add-on can be of different pricing scheme. It can be unit, volume, tier, or package based. And you can set the pricing for the add-on, and you can have the same account set for the add-on, or you can also associate a different account for the add-on. And if you're offering any promotional discount to your customers, in such cases, you can just create a coupon. So the coupon can be provided with a name. You can mention the code, and you can mention the coupon as a flat or percentage wise coupon can be created. You can set up the redemption time as one time, or a limited number of times. It can be associated to any specific plan or an add-on. It can be a combination of any higher plans and add-ons together. And you can set up the validation date and the maximum redemption. For example, if you want only the first 100 users to access this coupon, you can set the maximum redemption. So once the plan is being configured, so there are different ways where you can list this plan to your website. For example, after a plan has been created, a unique payment URL will be generated. So this will have a direct link. You can embed it as an iframe, or you can use it as a button. Or when you enable that include in widget option, so a pricing table will be automatically created. So this pricing table, you will have different templates, and you can group them by frequency. You can customize this pricing table based on your requirement using the different template option. You can highlight any specific plan and customize the pricing. And once this is done, you can copy the code and embed it in your website. So now, once the customer subscribes, they would be taken to the checkout page. So the checkout page is called as hosted payment page. So that hosted payment page can also be completely customized from header to footer. You can change the look and feel of it by changing the theme. You can add or remove the field and change the label content. And the complete layout can be customized as per your needs. And here, you can mention if you have any terms of those or privacy policies to be attached. So you can attach the URL here and it will display in the checkout page. And you can keep track of the Google Analytics tracking code here. And once the customer subscribes, so they would be redirected to the thank you page. So here in the thank you page, so if you want, you can use the default thank you page, or you can have a customized redirection provided after the payment success. That is, while creating a plan, you can set up a redirection URL which will land to a specific thank you page. So what Z Prime has done here is that, so they have created all the product and they have used the widget. So in Z Prime website, they have embedded the pricing table. So here in this pricing table, so the customer can subscribe and it will be taken to the checkout page where the details can be filled, like the account information and the payment information can be filled by the customer and they can subscribe. So once the subscription is done, they are redirected to the default thank you page. And as soon as the subscription is being created, so you can see that the customer information will be captured here in Zoho. So here the customer information, the billing address, and the card that is used by the customer is on file. So the card information will be stored with the payment gateway. And you can view the complete timeline of the subscription. The mail communication between you and your customers can be viewed on the mail section. And the transaction details can be viewed here. And in the overview section, you can see the unused credits, outstanding receivables, and in the subscription level, so you will find the status, the renewal amount, the next billing date, and based on the plan frequency, this plan is in monthly frequency. So based on this, our scheduler will take care of recurring invoices and collect payments. And you can view the complete details of the subscription here. And the invoice will be automatically generated and sent to the customer. So here, once after a subscription is being created for a customer, so a portal invitation will be sent to the client. So the portal invitation is a public URL. So after the customer subscribe, a portal invitation will be sent to the customer and they can accept the invitation and create a password of their choice. So once they do that, so they will have access to the portal. So in the portal, the customer can modify the account information, they can update the payment details, and in the subscriptions, they can monitor what plan they're currently in. So they can see the status of the subscription, the billing date, billing amount, and they can view the invoices. And if there is any overdue invoices, they can directly make payment for the invoices from within the portal. And they will have an option to pass or resume the subscription, and they can cancel the subscription any point in time. And also they can upgrade or downgrade the subscription. And they can view all the invoices, the payments, and they get a complete statement of account. So the portal URL can be completely white labeled, and your customer can have a white labeled portal.
While you're doing this, I'll go and ask our 10th polling question. And so this is something from earlier in his presentation about benefits of integrating with subscriptions. And again, none of these answers are incorrect. So you can't be incorrect necessarily in this. No trick questions. Not going to send you your letter grade at the end of this presentation either. Yeah, thanks for walking through that demo. I know definitely kind of like yesterday, it's great to see it in a presentation, but also the live demo really kind of nails it home for a lot of our customers. Yeah, let's give this about 5 more seconds and then you're good to continue.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. You're good to go.
Yeah, okay. So hope you're able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can see the slides now.
Okay. So next, so far we saw the self-driven model, and next we will see the sales-driven model. So in the sales-driven model, so Zprime is using Zoho CRM integration with this. So wherein you can bring in all your leads into Zoho CRM, and so the leads can be converted to a contact or an accounts based on the integration that you have made with Zoho subscriptions. So once it's been changed to a contact, so the salesperson can create a subscription directly within Zoho CRM. So in CRM, so the data whichever is being created by your salesperson will contextually be synced with Zoho subscriptions. And in here, so once the subscription is being created, the invoice will be generated and sent to the customer through Zoho subscription, and they will have a option to make payment. And once they complete the payment, so the paid invoice status will be shown in Zoho CRM. So now we would see how this would work in Zoho CRM. So I'm in the Zoho CRM application. So once the lead is being created and once you convert the lead, so I have connected with the contacts module here with this current organization. And here, after you convert a lead to a contact, you can select the contact, and under the related list, you will find Zoho subscriptions. And in here, your sales team can create new subscription. So you can see the contact information is already available, and the sales team can create a product and a plan. The add-ons can also be associated, and they can choose the start on date, the expiry date, and a sale by salesperson report can be mentioned. And by default, the payment will be collect payment offline. The payment terms can be specified if required. And when they continue, they can see the immediate and the recurring subscription charges. And once they subscribe, so the complete subscription information, like the billing details, including the amount, the next billing date, renewal cycle, and the recent activities will be shown, can be seen by the salesperson within CRM. And the invoice status will be shown here in CRM. And your finance team can access this particular subscription within Zoho Subscription. For example, so the subscription that we created in CRM is synced in real time with Zoho Subscription. And you can see the subscription details. And the invoice is in send status, where a link will be generated and sent to the customer. And they can directly use that link to make payment, or you can record the payment here manually for the subscriptions. So yeah, so we have now done with the demo part. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach back.
Help out with that. Okay, so yeah. So do you see Heather's question within the questions tab? I can project it. So really, so if we wanted to use subscriptions that have a date that rolls forward on the line item every year, is there a way to do this? So Gotham, are you familiar with that whenever you're trying to do yeah, Heather's questions where if we wanted to use subscriptions to have a date that rolls forward on the line item every year, is this possible within Zoho subscriptions? Maybe. Gotham, can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, hey, yeah, I guess y'all are in there answering some questions real quick. But yeah, as we continue on, everybody can see my slides, correct? Okay, so I guess we'll go ahead and continue on to Marie-Andrée and get her back in for kind of closing thoughts and her business case situation. So we'll be exploring subscriptions with Marie-Andrée. And I really appreciate that, Gotham, kind of helping walk us through that. And now we'll kind of see like a business case and hear Marie-Andrée's situation.
Hello.
Hey, yeah, we can hear you. Good to see you again. So I'll turn my camera on so you're not alone. But yeah, so let's kind of dive in, and here's her contact information again. And kind of what we were talking about earlier is Cofinia, they touch a lot of things other than just inventory, just subscriptions. So they're constantly thinking of ways to improve business practices. So here's another example of what they did for a business with subscriptions.
Yeah. So our client is a spin-off company. At first, they started doing a disaster recovery plan as services, and then they developed an app to manage the plans and be able to communicate to different sites. And so they did a spin-off company. and now they're two separate entities. They have, their business model is to have the software company now have partners such as Zoho that implement their solution to their client. And they also can have a direct customer that can, subscribe if they have in-house people that want to take care of the implementation of the solution and put on their own recovery plans. Sorry, not discovery, recovery.
Mhm.
So prior to using Zoho, they were in the old accounting system that we have in Canada, this called Akamba, and they were kind of double dipping, I guess. It was the IT company, the software company was billing the service company, and the service company was billing the client. So kind of on the service company side of the books, they kind of have like revenue that were, it's not relevant revenue because it's more of a commission. They have the cost, like maybe 80% of the subscription as a cost, and then the full 100% as a revenue. So it's kind of not relevant to have this instead of having a 20% commission on the selling part of the subscription of the app. So they're kind of transitioning into this subscription model, both companies, because the first one is the service company that still is doing business and also have other type of services. For the development company, if they're selling to their partners and then they don't have the information on their actual users in a finance point of view, they have it as a user into the app for instance, they create the users and they create the environment and they create the space or the company for the technical app point of view. But for the business, they're not in relation with their client. It's their only relation with their partners. So they wanted to go to a subscription model, but they were not actually ready for that. So when I started working with them, I asked a lot of questions. And for disclosure, since I asked so many questions, they're not implemented in Zoho subscription at this point. We wanted to go live at January 1st, so we have a backup plan, but then I'm gonna tell you a little bit what we were thinking about. So the first thing is we started using and implementing Zoho Crm. We implemented Zoho Books earlier this year. We uploaded all actual transactions for 2021 in the general ledger, and we started implementing Zoho Subscription. But then a subscription model is so different than a service model, and doing the switch of the two models is really kind of different. So if you're a startup and you start fresh with that, it's different than if you have like a way of thinking about being a service company and billing monthly your services, sometimes based on hourly rates and based on different kind of modules that you build in for your product. It's really different. So shifting to a subscription model, I mean, you cannot be only, like the finance team or the owner team. You have it's got to have to be a overall company project. So I think Gautam said earlier, is it a sales team, that managed the subscription, or is it the finance teams that managed it? But you also have the IT team that have all the information that has to be put in the application, that you have the user that has to be created, the modules that you have to build in, and things like that. So your product has to be ready to be launched as a subscription product. Otherwise it's a little bit different. It's more manual. And so IT people are really creative people. They can do anything, but still they need to prepare for that. So you also have a lot of thinking to do and defining your customer journey. the landing page we saw earlier in the demo, the email chains. What is the message you want to address? And if you have actual customer and you're changing your model, what are you going to say to them? Are they going to keep their kind of, legacy pricing? Are they going to switch? How they're going to switch? So these are questions that you have to ask yourself before starting using Zoho Subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're a startup, one of the things is that I saw a lot, because we have a community of startup, and I do coaching with them, and I have some of the clients that I've been working with since 2017. One of them is a startup that really went huge with COVID. So they said, okay, in 24 hours we can put you online with your restaurant menus. So they had a lot of traction, but they were able to do that on the IT side of the business, but they had other issue on the billing side of the business. So these are things that if you have to think about. And one of the first thing is, if you're a startup and start your commercial the commercial pitch. I'm sorry for my English, but you're probably gonna change your pricing strategy a few times in the beginning of your business. So you're gonna try to attract some customers, and for instance, if you go with in these example, one of them is like they were going to one store. So they tried to attack this retail store, and then when it was working and was going well, and they had like a MVP and everything was going fine, they started addressing like the chain of retail stores. So a lot of different retail stores, but they address another type of management team. So they have to find a way to change the pricing structure to a flat monthly rate. Then they add to have like a volume kind of rate for different location. So if they had like 10 location or 20 or 100 location, the pricing was different, but they didn't address that. So they had to change their pricing structure a lot of times at the beginning of their business model. So these are the kind of things that if you're not, if you didn't think it through, then you will go to your subscription model and change it a lot. So one of the things that is for a service company going to a subscription model, I think that is really different, is how to change from, a product to a plan. So for instance, in a recurring invoice that you have in Zoho Books, you can add all those products on, an invoice line item. So you have 3, 4, 5 line item, which all the product you want. So for instance, if you're a Zoho customer and you want to subscribe to Zoho CRMs or Zoho Books or Zoho additional user, so if you're on a recurring invoice in Zoho Books, you could have separate line items on that and create your recurring billing and then send it to your customer. Mm-hmm. But then you have some issues. So you don't have, an easy way to prorate your new user that start, adding up during the month. Your revenue recognition is more complex because in Books, you have your sales accounts, but no deferred revenue accounts for those things. You don't have your usage billing integrated in your recurring invoice. If you want to do that, you have to do your recurring invoice as draft, then import transaction into your existing draft invoice. So it's really complicated. And then you don't have your KPIs. So what is define the value of a startup or of a SaaS company is those metrics. So monthly recurring revenue is a really a target for getting some funding, and ARPA or RPU that you have in the subscription as KPIs is average revenue per account. These are KPIs that are really interesting. If your churn is lower, then it's really good insight too. So these are the type of things that you don't have into the traditional, even though it's recurring invoicing in Zoho Books, you don't have that. But
Yeah. Before we kind of continue on, sorry to
yeah,
stop
sure.
you for your thought. I wanted to ask a poll question, and kind of relates to the accounting topic about being integrated with Zoho Books. Just are you currently using a subscription management tool, and is it integrated with your accounting software? Similar to our inventory question, just trying to see some insights. And obviously, as Marie is kind of going through this, you're seeing that there are benefits in integrating it. And by doing so, you're able to either keep track of those KPIs or all these different metrics. And in order to see kind of what she's talking about with funding, I think that's a big thing for a lot of these businesses that are starting off. Just definitely with investors, is it's important to have accurate reports, and so that whenever you're reaching out to your investors, everybody's happy and they can see everything accurately. That could be stressful. I used to, in Austin, a lot of real estate over here, so a lot of investors. But yeah, so I'll let you continue on, and you're on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you said about funding is what we see is a lot of startup needs a lot of fundings to develop the product, their ID, and add new features, and after that do some publicity online, ads, so you could have traction to their app, and then spending a lot of dollars on a selling team, on a marketing team. So these are huge costs for a SaaS company. So these metrics can have, if you can show improvement in your MR, there's a lot of people that are looking at you and see that your growth is really fast, and that's really attractive for investor and like traditional funding bank, and also to send some. We have a lot of grant here in Canada for new IT companies, so that's a great way to show that you're structured and you're ready to grow really fast. But when you're transitioning to this subscription model, if you didn't bundle your product, so for instance, you have like Zoho CRM, which is a product, Zoho CRM Plus, which is structured a way that it includes other apps, and then you have Zoho One, which is a bundle of 50 apps. So CRM is one product, but it's also included in Zoho CRM Plus, and it's also included in Zoho One. So what you're gonna see for your client is, if your client's going with Zoho One subscription, it's fine. It's one product that you subscribe to on a plan, which is the Zoho One. It's I think you have two plans. You have the all users, and you have the specific user plan, and then you have the number of users that you subscribe to. But then if you want to say use Zoho Books and Zoho Project only, those, it's two subscription. It's not like on your invoice, you're not going to see like Zoho Books and Zoho subscription, Zoho Project subscription on the same invoice. It's going to be two subscription. And sometimes it's hard because people don't bundle their subscription. They're kind of, or bundle their plan so it can make it to a subscription. So it's kind of hard to transition the way one way to another. And how do they gonna price their plans? Because some of the pricing is based on usage, on number of for instance, recovery plan, number of site, number of whatever. So if you don't price your plan correctly, you could lose a lot of money. So you need to make sure that when you transition to your plan pricing, you understand what is going to be like actual pricing, what are the revenue that you generate. And if you transition to a plan, people are they going to choose the plan that you think they're going to choose? And what's the effect on the pricing and the total revenue that you're going to have? But if you do this analysis, I think it's going to be like a great way to change your structure and go over more automatization on your processes. And I was referring to the company that grow a lot. The SaaS company I was that were in my clients that implemented in 24 hours. They took like 3 months to settle all the billing because they were not on a subscription tool. They had a lot of manual intervention to do. So this is something that, if it's already planned in subscription, I mean, for sure, if you have a lot of traction coming in, it's going to have a lot of work, but most of it will be on the billing part will be automated, automatized with the Zoho subscription. So then for my client that we're working on, what we decided to do, so it's going to be like on the sale perspective. So it's going to be driven by the CRM. So it's going to be only on internal use, no landing page on the website. And for this year, we're going to do only one subscription and one plan for every customer with the existing pricing. So we're going to be able to import that from the templates that there is in Zoho subscription. So that way, we're going to be able to start using it, have the KPIs to see, what are the clients and what are the subscription, how many of them, are subscribed and keep on working. And then we're going to figure out the pricing strategy and the different plans and start building the landing page and all the information and the message and think about how to, migrate the actual client to the new structure. So it gave us time, and they're going to be able to use all the automation for the renewal process, the billing and the payment process. So that's what we're going to do in the meanwhile. But then at some point we're going to be able to use all the features of Zoho subscription. So that was something I would share, because it's not that clever that when you start, what will be, every aspect if you're a service company transitioning to a subscription company.
Yeah, definitely. And what I've seen a lot of times, like in the accounting industry, for example, a lot of accountants are trying to move over to this subscription model, but they're struggling, kind of what you're saying, figure out your pricing model. And a thing you did say that resonated with me was you come up with these subscription plans and you want everybody to pick, like, say you have a CFO sort of subscription where it's like $1,000 a month, but everybody chooses the $300 a month bookkeeping, but then they're contacting you for CFO type services. And so I think if you're in a service-based business, the biggest dilemma is you have to obviously figure out your pricing model, and then you have to place boundaries down, because whenever you're trying to get away from that billing hourly rate, and I'm sure Val knows about this too, it's hard to get out of the billing hourly and getting into these monthly subscriptions because people take advantage of your time. And as an accountant, as a lawyer, doctor, what have you, your time is so valuable, and definitely consultants as well. Your time's so valuable. And, just even Marie-Andrée being here with us, we're taking her from making money essentially, right? And, but like, so that's how a lot of times, lawyers look at it. So you always have to like figure out a way to, when you're doing your subscription model, figure out what attracts them and definitely set those boundaries, as I think.
Yeah. What is the scope? And then, with automation, what is great is that we use Zoho Project for, managing our projects. So we do bookkeeping. We have recurring tasks for bookkeeping. So everything is set up. And then, for non-recurring project and like implementation of Zoho app or financial modeling, things like that. So we define, task, what is, in the scope of the project. So it's easier that way. So even though it's a subscription or it's a flat fee, then we know what are the activities that we have to do each month to make sure that we meet, our profitability. So it's easier for everybody. So if I'm doing some work, but then Christian or Maxime has to fill in for me, they know what's in the project and what is the scope and what's included and not. So
Mhm.
that's cool.
Yeah, and also like if you're a business and you set up your subscription model accurately, kind of what she's saying, um, you can really streamline a lot of work, and also not to say you can forecast what's happening in the future, so you don't necessarily have to sit there and do the math in your head. Hey, I need to work on this account for 15 hours or whatever. It's just kind of it's there, and you just essentially at that point, people are just paying for you to be like an employee for their business. If you're doing service type consulting or accounting, and obviously there's other ways to use subscriptions, and we have a little bit of time left, not much. I think we can hang around for another 5 minutes or so. So if you have any questions, Marie-Andrée is definitely, she's here to help you out. And I'll launch the last poll question, and it's similar to the inventory one. If you'd like her to reach out to you about subscription, she would be happy to do so, and I'm sure help you out by email or phone call, whatever you need. And kind of what she was saying is, whenever you're dealing with subscriptions, you definitely need to sit down and plan it out, because you don't. The last thing you want to do is have all these clients underneath some sort of subscription, some sort of customer under subscriptions, and then you have to change the pricing model because you undervalued your time or your service, so that now you're realizing, hey, I need more money to keep up with this sort of influx of customers, clientele. Yeah, so if no one has a question, we can end today's session. And if you have questions, you'll have I'll go ahead and put my email in the chat as well. You can reach out to me if you have any questions about Zoho in general. I'll be happy to help you out and point you in the right direction.
Yeah,
And
those expecting CPA credit, make sure you fill out the evaluation form. And hopefully you got all your polling questions in.
yeah.
And go ahead, Nathan. What?
Yeah, I was just saying, after I end the session, fill out the evaluation. I'll send
Mhm.
out the CPE credits, and I'll do that today. And also, we would love to have you here for day 3, where we're going to talk about analytics, which Marie's very familiar with as well, and kind of Zoho 1, the big picture of what's happening, high level overview of what's happening over here at Zoho and the vast applications we have. So Marie touched on 2 today, inventory and subscriptions. Tomorrow we're going to touch on analytics and other cool applications that
Right.
Zoho integrates with.
And we really look at those evaluations, folks. We're always very concerned to make sure we're getting good content out for your time. Okay. We know your time is worth a lot of money. I mean, clearly, we work for Zoho. We're going to try to promote and sell Zoho solutions. But at the same time, we want to get some really good content out there, business ideas, different theories, strategies, tricks, things like that. So by the end of these 3 days, I think we will have done, a pretty good job this year of bringing forward some really strong points of Zoho.
Yeah, and that's why Marie, Andrea, I really do appreciate you coming on to get this kind of business case insight on it, because like I tell a lot of my partners, I'm not in the weeds, so I don't necessarily know the quirks. And I used to do accounting, and I know what it's like to run a business for the most part. And obviously through my few years at Zoho and my experience in accounting, like I understand it and school and everything. But it's great to get an insight from you and get kind of expert advice that can really help out a lot of our customers.
Well, we do use Zoho for our business, and we have about the 30% growth over the years, and we still have the same small team to manage. So we add some more features on our applications, and we customize Zoho CRM, and we customize Zoho Analytics. So I, as a business owner, I know this is so much value for what I pay for Zoho One.
Mhm.
And some people are asking me, why do you want to go to Zoho One? And I recommend your viewers to go and see next day session, because for me it's a no-brainer. Zoho One is so much value for me, and I use maybe 40% because I don't have time to implement everything. My next tool I want to implement is Desk, and I know that there's a lot of things I can do with that, but
We'll utilize it. Yeah.
Yeah, so probably next year is going to be the year of desk, but
Yeah.
we
Thanks so much. Yeah. It's
yeah,
fun.
we like it. It's really useful for your business.
Yeah,
No,
I get some really strong feedback on desk, and that's not really directly part of our group, but we certainly promote it. And these companies that are doing a lot of service support, calls, stuff, desk has been just a wonderful thing for them, especially for the price, like you say, and also with the mobile app and everything, how it all integrates back in.
Yeah.
So, Marie-Andrée, thank you so much. It's so great to see you and hear your voice, and you did a great job. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Have a
I'm
great
gonna end.
day.
I'm gonna end the session, everyone. Thank you, and see
Bye.
you guys and gals tomorrow. Appreciate it. Thank you.